My name is Martha Sharpe, and I've been a software engineer for 3 years. It all started back in 2019 when I taught myself how to code. I built a bunch of smaller projects using JavaScript and React, and I posted demo videos on my YouTube channel. And through that process, I came across my first opportunity. It was a 6-week freelance gig with an entrepreneur to build a prototype React Native mobile app. He was actually a backend engineer and had already created the API. So my job was to clarify the requirements, come up with a design, and just build the thing. The biggest challenge in that situation, especially for a beginner, was converting videos to a format that could be uploaded to an S3 bucket. But I figured it out and ended up with a very happy client. I ended up making a demo video of that project, which led to my next opportunity. My first full-time job was with a company called Grasp Health. They needed a React Native developer to build a mobile app for their delivery drivers. Once again, they already had an API. They also had a custom Redux middleware to use. So as the React Native developer, my job was to, once again, clarify requirements, come up with a design, and build the app. The greatest challenge for this app was plotting the delivery route and also real-time location tracking for the drivers. By the time I had the app ready for release, the CTO said, "This is more than I was expecting." And that is something about me, is I don't settle for bare minimum. I always have the end user in mind, and I want their experience to be as painless as possible. Soon after that, I was approached by another company called Sharpe HSA. Their app was already very polished. Not only was their app very polished, but their processes were very polished. They followed the whole Scrum process with well-defined Jira tickets, with a complete design in Figma, with a custom UI component library using Storybook, and they also had a very disciplined and intense code review process to make sure that every ticket met the requirements, matched the designs, and didn't introduce any new bugs. One feature I was responsible for was the receipt capture. It was a flow for the user to take several images of a receipt and review them, and then save them to a transaction where they can view them in greater detail. So the biggest challenge here was choosing the libraries to use. I needed one to handle the camera capture, one to handle the zooming in and out functionality, one to handle the carousel for viewing the images, and then being able to retake an image or delete one and retake another. It ended up being kind of a complex flow. So another tool I needed was something to handle the state within this single feature. Since we used GraphQL with Relay, we didn't have a larger state management library like Redux in place. So I opted to use ZooStand state, which is very lightweight and intuitive, and it worked really well for this feature. After my time at Sharpe, I was approached by Canopy Servicing. They started out as an API to manage financing, but they were looking to create more front-end platforms. So after 2 years working in React Native, I transitioned back to React for the web. When I came in, they already had a platform for lenders, which was built with Next.js, and they had kind of a half-finished custom component library built with Tailwind, and they were looking to build a new platform for borrowers to use, and they wanted to use Remix to build this platform. So when I came into Canopy, it was a brand new team, and the first thing I noticed was that there were no solid processes in place. So I took it upon myself to clarify requirements, write out some linear tickets, have a meeting as a team to decide what the file structure should be, so we knew where the code was supposed to go instead of just doing our own thing, and basically setting up processes so we could actually collaborate and work together instead of stepping on each other's toes. After we successfully launched the borrowers platform, it was time to return to the lenders platform because the performance of that platform was extremely poor. One thing that I noticed was that a lot of heavy calculations were being done on the front end that involved several API calls to get the information needed for those calculations. So I worked with back-end engineers to see if those calculations could be done on the back end so that just one API call could be made for that page. And literally it went from a 30-second page load, not a good user experience, to just a split second. I loved my team at Canopy. I loved how we worked together and solved problems together and built amazing products together, but I got an amazing opportunity that I couldn't pass up. I received a grant through O'Shaughnessy Ventures to make a documentary on alternative education. By the end of the fellowship, I released the documentary on my YouTube channel, and now I'm ready to get back to coding. I'm excited to find a new company, a new team that is in need of my enthusiasm, leadership, attention to detail, empathy for the end user, and awesome personality.